Beautiful. Hey, everybody. How are you? How is your holiday? Welcome to the Friday Planning Series, where I come to you every Friday, either in the morning or at lunchtime, to share with you some tips, motivations, and successes to help you plan better for your future and to thrive in your life, your business, or career. So how was everybody's holiday? I'm just getting acclimated here, letting people jump on. I let everyone know that we were on here and we're recording. And today, as always, I start with what our power word or what my power word was for a week. And it was all about being aware of my surroundings, especially aware of how I was showing up, especially during a busy time like this week of the holiday season, making ourselves aware of what's going on around us so we're able to connect better with who we really want to be in a thriving manner, okay? So if you're jumped on and you're with me, say hello. Oh, June has joined me this morning. And here we are on Friday, December 27th, a few days until 2020. I want to just talk a little bit about that. Like, you're planning for 2020. Don't get so overwhelmed by looking at the whole year, okay? Because I think when we want to plan big, so we want to go through what we want, but then we want to think big and plan small, okay? So go out and get my goal packet, my free ebook at powerful-purpose.com/goal. Download that. That'll help you get started for the first 90 days of 2020 and also help you plan small by tackling the first 30 days of that 90-day period and then take it from there. But this morning, I wanted to come to you about being aware and how that helps you show up the way that you want to show up in your life, okay? So think about it. When we are aware of our surroundings and aware about what we want and aware about who we surround ourselves with, how does life change? Like, what does that feel like to you? I know when I walk into a situation and I'm not quite sure what it's going to be about, what ends up happening to me is fear sets in and I get very nervous and paralyzed. So the key for me is to help myself understand that it's going to be okay. All right. So that's my key, is helping us understand that it's going to be okay. And that if we have the possibility to understand what it's going to be, that fear will go away. So in this Facebook Live, I'm going to share just a couple of tips on helping you understand how to be more aware of who you are, what you want, how you want to surround yourself, in what environment, with what people, all of these areas. And it's really understanding the why for you. Okay, so ways to connect with awareness. The best thing to do when you want to connect with awareness is ask yourself these questions. Where do you spend most of your energy? Okay, think about that. Where do you spend most of your energy? Do you spend most of your energy in a lifestyle that you truly want? Okay. So if you do not, I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, why? Ask yourself, is it worth it? The energy that you're spending, is it worth the outcome that comes from it? So being aware of what you do on a daily basis. So I read the other day about how when we eat, if we eat just to get by, how do we expend the energy around that? Like surrounding ourselves with the food that's going to energize us because it makes us feel better physically and not emotionally. So let's be aware of that, or be aware of our planning. What energy are you spending putting out the fires instead of planning so you don't have as many fires to put out, but you actually are in the position to start the fires because you plan to have a thriving business, career, or life, okay? So that's question number one. Where do you spend your energy? And when you do that, ask yourself, is it worth what I'm getting from it? Knowing who you are, being aware of who you truly are, not, we've talked about this before, not wearing the different masks of mom or business owner or sister or daughter or wife, but who are you? So being aware of who you are will help you plan better because you'll find what you want to happen in your life will show up that way. So I've always, I love what I do and I love to create. So I'm creating all the time. And this week, my word was to be aware of my surroundings and what I truly want. And even though I love creating and working, I decided to take this time off between Christmas Eve and January 2nd. Today is the only day that I'm doing my Facebook Live and I have a couple of calls, but other than that, I am down. And allowing myself to actually step away from it and be aware, I found out that I love to sketch and draw again. And I knew that, but I allowed that to be pushed aside because of the other things that I was spending my attention on. Now, not that they weren't worth it, because they are worth it, but allowing myself the space to see beyond what I do on a daily basis all of the time allowed me to find this new love that I had a really long time ago, and I let it go. So I've been sketching and doodling, and it's wonderful to be away, disconnected from the media, and giving myself some solitude to do that. So knowing who I am is I am an artist, and I let that trait go. So do you have something that you think that you would truly love, but there's not room for it anymore because you have allowed a lot of other things in your life take precedence over that? So being aware of what that is really important. And be objective, really be objective about yourself. Be honest with yourself, because we could truly justify anything in our lives. And it could be like, well, I'm too busy for that, so I'm not going to be able to draw anymore. Or I can't find the time to go for a walk, or I can't find my time to plan my meals or cook healthier food. It's just easier to go through McDonald's and get some fries, right? It may be easier, but it goes back to that question is, how are you spending your energy? And do you really want to spend your energy like that? Because what is the outcome that you're going to get from that? When you remember who you are, when you truly remember who you are, the game ends up changing, right? All of the sudden, when you remember, you know what? I want to feel better. I want to eat healthier. I want to have downtime. I want to have a thriving business. When you start remembering that, all of the circumstances that take over and flood our lives because of the drama, all of a sudden the game changes. And now all of a sudden we're showing up the way that we want to be in our thriving environment. I just love that word, thriving. Think about that, right? Thriving or growth. But I love the word thrive because it really sets the tone in my mind of what is it that I need to thrive in my life or in my business. that's one of the questions I want you to ask yourself. And I'm actually going to put that in the chat right now. So when I go on replay or somebody sees this, they will be able to ask themselves that question, right? What is it that you want to thrive in? If you were to think about that, what is the one area right now that you would love to thrive in? Give that a thought. If anybody's on watching and they want to share, that would be awesome. Go ahead and do that, and I could always come back to the answer. The other area is being aware of how you act, right? I notice this. If we're tired or we're rushed, if you're not feeling well, how do you act? Does part of you, that kindness, get put aside because you're not feeling well, or you're in a hurry and you forget your please and thank yous, right? Be aware. It does not matter what's going on. The kindness is in our heart. Okay, so what's that saying? You get more, something from honey. I can't remember the exact saying, but you would get more results from honey than vinegar, or I don't know, something like that. If anybody knows that saying, I would love to hear it, because I remember that, but obviously I'm not remembering the actual words of that saying. But think about that. You're always responsible of how you act. It doesn't matter. There's no excuse if you're acting inappropriately, right? So be aware of how you act and how you show up. The other area, more bees than honey. That's right. You get more bees with honey than vinegar. Thanks, June. Yay! Right? How appropriate is that with this? Because being aware that the vinegar will keep them away, but the honey will bring people to you. So when you are aware of your actions, no matter how you're feeling. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be perfect all the time, because we are humans and we're not perfect all the time. But when we are aware of what is happening around us, or how we're feeling, or how we're acting, it makes a big difference. So be aware of that. Be aware of your surroundings. Are they fitting your expectations? So be aware of your surroundings. Is the surroundings fitting your expectations? Okay, so a little side note. In my office, I have a standing treadmill desk, but my office is small and on the small side. So what I want to do is, the expectations of my office isn't exactly what I want it to be. I want it to be a thriving, creative space. Now, I have the treadmill desk and I love that, but I do have a regular regimen for exercise and movement. So when I got the treadmill desk, I did not have that. So my expectations of my office has changed. So from then, I needed something to keep me moving. Now I work out with my personal trainer. I go to the gym. I go for walks on a regular basis. So I don't need this in my office. So my expectations have changed of my space around me. So over the next week, I want it to be a more creative, relaxation space where I could come to you in a different manner, right? And come to you feeling more grounded. So I will move this treadmill desk up to my workout room, where I could go up there and utilize the space and watch YouTube videos or whatever I need to do to motivate me, continue to motivate me and educate me. But on a regular basis, be creative and in a meditative state while I'm building my business and working with you guys. Okay, so the expectation has changed for my space. Do you have an area or surrounding in your life that is giving you exactly what you want, or maybe there is something a little different that needs to change in your life, in your business or your career, be aware of what that expectation is. Because if you're not reaching your expectations or you're not reaching your goals, what might be happening is that the surroundings or the action plan isn't aligning with what the end result is for you. So my end result is I want to walk into my office and feel creative and grounded and being able to thrive in an environment that I'm going to be able to give back. Where in the past, my environment was in my office that I need movement and activity to keep things going. Well, now that I've already created the plan to have that in my life, I don't need that inside my office. So I have changed the surroundings and the expectation between the two of them. So think about that. Is your surroundings meeting what you need? Now, maybe you're in a career that you really want a different result. So maybe you need to take a step back and look at that. What is the surroundings? Are you getting what you need from your career or your business or your life? We could talk about that, because that's really the work that I love to do, is that productivity coaching, helping people align with their purpose and then helping them get there, right? So we could always chat more about that. The other area, let's see, is when you are aware, you can make changes or know when to celebrate. So when you're more aware with your planning of what the end result is that you want, then you can make adjustments as you need them, okay? So this goes back to doing your brain dumping, writing a letter to yourself, doing that brain dumping every single week for 10 minutes to unload, so you're aware of where your thought process is going. Because you may think that you want to go down this path, but your brain is telling you something different, because in the back of your mind, you're telling yourself that, no, I really want this. But because of the surroundings, you're staying where you are, okay? So take that time to do those brain dumping. And while you're going through this process, self-awareness is the first step in making this all happen. So during your self-discovery time, which, you know, January is always a beautiful time, because people set all these resolutions and they want all these new things to happen in their life. They have big expectations of what you want to happen in 2020. That's beautiful. Brain dump those. But if we don't change our mindset and we're not aware of what's going on around us, those old habits are just going to creep back in again. And that's the reason why they say the gym is empty on February 1st, because we're all gung-ho for change on January 1, but we can make a change at any time. You could start now, but making a change is not productive or won't stick unless we're aware of what we really want and who we are, where we're spending our energy, and how we're showing up. So all of these different questions of asking ourselves about this is really important. So this week, I had picked to be aware as my power word or my power phrase for the week, because I did not want to get caught up in the busyness of the holiday and not be aware of what the reason for the season was for me, and to really take a step back and relax with my family and try to navigate through my energy of being an Italian and loving to cook and be in the kitchen, and being able to be in the living room opening up gifts at the same time. So knowing what that balance was really important. So having that phrase for me over this past week was really helpful in grounding me. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring this to you today, is that being aware of who you are now will help you be aware and celebrate who you want to be in 2020. Now, you may find that you love 2019, and you want to stay there, and you just want to thrive even more in that ability. And that's an awesome thing. That's awesome. We don't always have to be ready to step out and change. We don't always have to change something. Sometimes it's perfect just the way it is at this particular time. And we just need to celebrate that. Okay? So I really want you to take a deep breath around 2020 before you start your planning. Figure out, ask yourself these questions. Where do you spend the most energy? And is it worth it? Is it what you want? Know who you truly are, okay? Who am I? Am I being objective on my needs? Am I paralyzing myself because I'm afraid of what others might think? Or am I paralyzing myself of the unknown? So let's get to know ourselves better and the situation better. Be aware of how you act. Does that change around different people or how you're feeling? Be aware of your surroundings. Do they fit your expectations? And remember, self-awareness is the first step in living a thriving life or having a thriving business or career. And you could start your self-discovery in January if you want. It's interesting. I just did the 28 days to self-discovery in the Take Back My Life community, which is a group coaching community that I have. And the women in that community did my book, my 28 days to self-discovery, which is on Amazon. It's #Nugget, 28 days to self-discovery. Did my book in Take Back My Life coaching. And it was a great way to wrap up a very beautiful year and get them ready for 2020 to see what might be holding them back. But I think so many times we are tied up on what holds us back versus celebrating what is actually working for us. Because if something's working for us, that's the place we need to thrive more in. So starting your self-discovery now is never too late to do that. Just connect with yourself so you could be aware of what's important to you and what gives you the most energy. Okay? Have a beautiful New Year's. We'll see you next Friday afternoon at noon for my next Friday planning session. If anybody has anything that they need in the meantime, just let me know. Thank you so much. I'm honored that you joined me today on the 27th of December at noon. And until next time, God bless and have a dynamite week. Take care.